the Milliken Board of Trustees, August 14th. Whoa. August 28th, 2019 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Been asleep for 2 weeks.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The town clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Trustee Burek? Here. Trustee Smith?
Here.
Trustee Wakeman?
Here.
Trustee Ehrlich?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Here.
Mayor Woodcock?
Here.
Trustee Trailer absent.
Agenda approval. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments? Perfect. Minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any discussion or comments on the minutes?
Yes. Action agenda section B, could you remove the words remove suggested motion? And section E, first paragraph, it says that Colson received the bid. We hadn't voted on it yet, so we need to amend those minutes to say that Colson was a low bidder.
We'll get those corrected.
Thank you.
Now I'll take a motion.
I move to approve with the suggested adjustments.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Acknowledgement of paid list of bills. Do we have any questions?
I signed most of the checks, so I don't have any.
All right. Town administrator's report.
The RO plant is going to be up and operating next week. With the fence work and the cement work that's being completed around it, we have decided to have the grand opening of it ceremony on September 25th. And I'm looking to the board to see if you would like to start with the work session at 3 o'clock starting over there and then move over here after. They're going to have some refreshments, some something to eat over there, give you a tour of the place, and then we come back for our work session over here. But right now the suggestion was to take September 25th and start with the work session at 3:30.
I probably won't make it. We're in full swing harvesting. Yeah. That's harvest time for us, so it's up to you guys.
Works for me.
I'm sorry?
It works for me.
For everyone else, it seems like it'll work then.
They're trying to figure out when to schedule it to get you guys there.
Okay.
Go with that, or?
Yeah, fit it at that, and who can make it, and everywhere can make it, makes it, whoever does it, does it.
Okay.
Is there a time that everybody could make it?
When's your harvest season start?
About 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's what I thought. It's that time of year, so
Yeah.
if we come up with a better idea, I'll send out an email to see if that works for you or not. But they need to schedule something and get it set up, so we'll go with that if.
Can you
that's
make it
all right.
after 3:30?
What's that?
Can you make it after 3:30? I work until 3:30.
You work till, what time works better?
4?
It'll be at 4.
Thank you.
AM.
Yes.
Yeah, we want you to see it. All right. Previously, we had a discussion about the increased cost from Pinnacle, I want to say Pinnacle Engineering, but it's Pinnacle Accounting Group on the finance deal. And we have placed an ad, and we are getting applications right now for finance director. I'll keep you posted on that. We do have a couple positions open for the water wastewater and for an equipment operator, and we keep looking. We had, since the last board meeting, we had 2 people that we had made an offer to, and both of them did not take the offer in the water wastewater department for different reasons. One wanted to move to Colorado, and his wife nixed it when they had the opportunity. And I don't remember what the situation was on the other one, but it didn't work out either. So we're still struggling to find help to fill all of the positions that we have open. We had a big meeting up on the Hillsborough Reservoir. We invited the Hillsborough Board of Directors, and some of the ditch owners were there. We shared information. We talked with the state. Gene, the water commissioner, was there. Dean Binder was there, and we talked about what the state was there. They talked what they would approve, and all the things that we had to do in order to get this thing going. The engineer will look at the volume. The state engineer said that first year of operation on an old dam like that, he would want to keep the water down 5 foot below the spillway level, so that we weren't putting a lot of pressure on the dam, so that they could monitor it. The engineer will do a calculation on that volume, and with those numbers, we'll do a cost feasibility study for you, and Leonard will get that to you here in the very near future. Hopefully we can get something figured out to where we either go forward or don't, because we need to get the work done this winter once the ditch dries out. We're gearing up for the 46 process up here. I met with some of the ditch owners up there that said that they hadn't heard everything about the ditch, so I spent some time with them, and we've got that resolved. And we're starting the mill and overlay, and we're starting the microsurfacing projects, and we're getting some timelines on that, and we'll give a timing by street of what streets they're going to do when. We'll share that with the schools so that they can schedule their people to know where to drop their kids off, or where the school bus pickup points will be once those areas start getting the tar over the top of them and they're closed for 48 hours. I think that's about it at this time. Any questions? Guidelines? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Action agenda. First one is consideration approval of Ordinance 775.
Good evening, Mayor and Board of Trustee members. Tonight we're asking for your consideration of approval of Ordinance 775. The ordinance would repeal and enact portions of Chapter 18 to the Milliken Municipal Code, updating our building codes to the 2018 editions. This evening we discussed that we had one correction to the ordinance in the IRC, Section 14, to remove the .1. Kelly is here with ProCode if you have any additional questions. Thank you.
Questions? Good. No question?
Good.
No question? Take a motion.
Okay, I move to adopt ordinance number 775, repealing and enacting portions of Chapter 18 of the Milliken Municipal Code and adopting by reference the International Building Code 2018 edition, the International Residential Code for 1 and 2 family dwellings 2018 edition, and the International Fuel Gas Code 2018 edition, the International Plumbing Code 2018 edition, the International Mechanical Code 2018 edition, the International Existing Building Code, 2018 edition, the International Property Maintenance Code, 2018 edition, the International Energy Conservation Code, 2012 edition, and the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code 2018 edition, and to amend ordinance number 775, section 4, IRC item 19 to reference R313 and not R313.1.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Yes, sir. Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Ehrlich?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay.
Huh? And you're next too. Alrighty.
Better.
Item B, request for consideration of appointment to the Housing Authority.
Mayor and trustees, we received an application for an appointment to the Housing Authority. Dallas was unable to be here for you to ask any questions. We apologize. We'd like to ask for your consideration of appointment to the Housing Authority.
That's the only opening we have? Just one opening
Cheryl's are just
for Housing
opening.
Authority, or?
I believe there's only one opening currently.
Several. She said there's several, sorry.
There's several openings?
How many openings? I only knew the one.
Our bylaws show that we can have up to 9 members.
Oh, okay.
That would be leaving at the end of their terms this year, so we're not at capacity yet.
Okay. Okay.
I'll make a motion, we appoint
Dallas.
Dallas Williams, excuse me, to the Housing Authority.
Second.
Town clerk, call for a vote.
Yes,
I got
sir.
something going on.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Ehrlich?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Item C,
Could we clarify the term that he's being appointed for?
how long is the term that he's being appointed for?
Depends on what the vacancy is on that
It'll
one.
be 2 years when it's appointment.
4 years.
Even on appointment?
Lois
Well, that's different than a town.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Right.
It's not an elected position,
Exactly.
okay.
Right. Thank you.
Alright, item C, consideration of appointing to the Planning Commission.
Mayor and trustees, tonight we are asking for your consideration of appointment for Mr. Bruce Gray to one of our 2 vacancies on the Planning Commission. One vacancy, unfortunately, was for Mr. Dave Watson, and our other one is from Andrew Laddick. Mr. Gray is here if you have any questions. Turn it over to you.
You guys have any questions?
Mr. Gray, we do have. I have a couple
Come up
questions.
to the podium, please.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
So I noticed that in your application, you state that, you have an interest in helping with our community growth, among other things. Just out of curiosity, do you have the time commitment required to attend planning commission meetings and the commitments that come with that and a full understanding?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, and what is your primary interest, other than the fact that you live in Milliken?
I'm sorry.
What is your primary interest in being on the planning commission? I couldn't really derive it from your statement.
Coming from a large urban area and having moved here, I would like to make sure that growth is looked at thoughtfully as opposed to haphazardly. Looking around us, many of the communities around us are growing at a breakneck speed. And I think while growth is obviously inevitable given the expectation of growth in the state, I think looking at it and being reasonable about the pace of growth is important.
And balancing our homes with our
Balancing
trails,
homes with
parks?
business and open spaces and everything else.
Okay, thank you, that's my questions.
Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your history is, and how long you've been in Milliken? A little bit about.
Well, I've not been in Milliken that long. My wife and I moved here at the end of 2017. We have been in California, Southern California, for 35 years, which is where I grew up. And we decided that that was not a very good place for us to retire. And in about 15 years, I expect to retire. But we wanted to find a place that would be a little less crazy and a place where we could feel better about political structures, tax structures, things of that nature. We did actually about a 15-year search of areas and narrowed it down to northern Colorado and western Washington, and ended up in northern Colorado. My wife is a graduate of UNC, I'm a graduate of DU, and it was really easy for us once we had narrowed it down to pick northern Colorado. And so we found Milliken kind of actually by accident, and we've been really excited to be here. We've been here about 20 months, and we really enjoy being in a much more rural area, being from suburban Los Angeles where growth is out of control. We just really enjoy the open spaces and the environment. And of course, both of us have a love for Colorado. I never wanted to go back to LA, but I got a job back there, so that was really compelling. But I'm now operating my own practice here in Milliken. I recently left a firm I was with in California and have started a practice here locally as a CPA. So yeah, I do have the ability in terms of time because I can control my schedule, and we just really have enjoyed being here, and we would like it to retain some of the character that we have seen already in our short time here.
Thank you.
Thank you. So what do you wish Milliken had that we don't have yet?
I'm sorry?
What do you wish that Milliken had that we don't have yet?
Okay, we're not quite ready for it. I'll be honest about that. But at some point, it would be nice to have a bigger box grocery store in town. I don't think we're quite there. I think we need to have more people in town before any of them will consider it. But I think that would be nice. I mean, my wife and I do some shopping locally, but end up going to Greeley an awful lot. I'm sure a lot of us do, right?
Well, welcome to Milliken.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No.
The only question I got is, we have 2 openings, were these advertised?
Yes.
And for how long?
Andrew left about a month and a half ago. That's when he left.
Okay. And we'll head to,
Been running a lot of ads lately, so I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head. Yes, we do have 2. And we also potentially have 1/3, because we can have an alternate on the planning commission. That was done by ordinance a few years ago. So we actually could fill 1 more spot on the planning commission.
Okay.
And would this be a 4-year appointment also? Or is it a different to fill out a term?
One would fulfill Dave Watson's term, and the other, I believe they're both going to end up being
2 years.
2 years.
Any other questions?
I move that we approve the appointment of Bruce Gray to the Planning Commission for a 2-year term.
Second?
Town clerk call for a vote.
Is that trustee Burek?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I thought that was. Trustee Ehrlich,
yes.
trustee Wakeman,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Burek,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin,
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Welcome aboard.
Yes.
Item D, request for consideration of appointing to planning commission.
Mayor, trustees, tonight I'd like to introduce Margaret Reagan O'Keefe to fulfill our second and final spot on the Planning Commission. She is here if you have any questions or if you'd like to come and introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Regan O'Keefe, and I apologize. I have a bit of a cold,
Okay.
so I'm going to try not to cough on anything or get anyone else sick. My story actually is from the opposite coast. I grew up in a suburban area outside New York City, in New Jersey. And there were a lot of things to love about growing up in that town. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of Milliken. We had a main road with a lot of small shops. We didn't have the big box store. That was in the next town over, not unlike here. And there was a lot to love being in that environment. One of the biggest differences is in northern New Jersey, we walked everywhere. We didn't just jump in the car and go. So it's a little different environment. I've been in Colorado 35 years, 1984. I moved out, I went to CSU and never left. And have no desire to go back to New Jersey. Married a guy who graduated from Colorado High School in Golden, and he teaches at the middle school. It took us a while to finally get relocated here, so you'll notice I haven't actually lived in town very long. But I have had children in the school system. I had some foster kids who were in the elementary and high school. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, they've moved on to a permanent housing situation with the sibling we couldn't keep. I still have one in the middle school. He just started middle school. He's a sixth grader. What I would love to see is I would love to see an eye towards planning with bicycle and walking paths. I think that's something that a little cognizant of being able to get, because I live in the south end, in the subdivision down there that of course I've conveniently forgotten the name of. But I live in the subdivision, and there doesn't seem to be a real good way for my son, without going on a dirt road, to get to the middle school. And so I'd love to see if maybe, as we're doing this thoughtful planning, where we're balancing, do we have enough parking? Do we have open spaces? Do we have safe spaces for our kids to get to school if they decide to go to bike to school day? Because I know that's a big thing here. So that's a little bit about where I come from. My background in planning is that I'm the daughter of a building inspector, and he used to have to sit on all the planning meetings. So, and I was fascinated with some of the stories he'd come home and talk about. And he's like, they've got to have parking for people. Why are they not planning that? Do they think everyone's just going to park in the streets? And I'm like, okay, Dad, I remember. So that's a little bit, probably more than you wanted to know.
No, okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
What about the time commitment for the Planning Commission, meeting twice a month, along with any extra work that needs to be done? Do you think you can meet the time commitment required?
I do believe I can meet the time commitment. I'm currently employed 2 part-time jobs, one of which is as a community college instructor. So I'm meeting mostly morning and early afternoons. And then my other job is teaching again, but from home.
Oh, okay.
So I have some flexibility in my schedule.
Terrific. Okay. Welcome to Milliken.
Thank you.
Okay. Nothing else?
I notice you've checked 3 different boxes here. Is planning your desire, or is it one of these others?
I think planning would be the best fit for me. I'm very interested in planning. I intend to be here for a while. I have a son who's just started middle school. My husband is working for the school district. We're planning on being here for a while.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I move to approve Margaret Reagan O'Keefe? Regan, sorry. We'll approve you anyway.
Maybe.
To the Planning Commission for a term of 2 years.
One second.
Town clerk. Call for vote.
Trustee Early?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you for your time.
Nothing on the discussion agenda. Informational agenda's Western Equipment Truck, but I'm sure we've heard plenty about that. Is there any updates on that, you know? No? All right, well, that's the end of the meeting then.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 6:57.
Thank you.
How'd we do that?
Scott, did you second?
So I just.
I knew it came from that.